Greetings folks, and I hope you put everything you've got into canned food and shotguns wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for not one, but count them, 5 figure unboxing and reviews. At least it was 5 last time I checked. What time is it now? Don't know. And where's my cheeseburger gone? Yes folks, it's infestation time as we plunge headfirst into the Skittle Bowl that is Trick or Treat Studios' take on Lenny, George, Daffy, Mohawk, and of course Gizmo, from the 1990 Joe Dante directed classic sequel Gremlins 2 The New Batch. But before we get wet, I'd like to send a Clamp Tower size shout out to everyone who supported Go Figure. And please drop a like on this review as it helps other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the 1/6 scale action figure, statue and collectible goodness that we've got coming up. So, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, what can I say? Even more anarchic than its predecessor, and just as much fun, with Trump parodies, gremlin mutations, and of course, Christopher Lee collecting mucus. What's not to love? And this old collector hopes and prays that he is 6 feet under before the threatened sequel, prequel, reboot comes along to CGI to death Joe Dante's amazing legacy. But enough of my Mogwai meanderings. Let's take a look at the boxes. Now, they're all here, the gang's all here, all 5 of them, but we're gonna zoom in close up and take a look at just one of the boxes because they're all pretty much the same. So, packaging, and we picked Gizmo to have a look at to check out the box that these little critters come in. But before we dive in, I'd just like to send a massive thank you to everybody who took part in the poll about which figures we should review next on the channel. And as my other half said, I put Chuck Norris up against the Gremlins, and although Chuck is good, he didn't stand a chance against these little guys. So yeah, the box itself, as I mentioned at the top there, all pretty similar. So we've gone with Gizmo. The only thing that really differentiates these boxes is the name at the bottom and some of the photographs. But yeah, what you've got is this decent quality stock card. You've got this window at the front with the gremlin behind it. It says Gremlins 2, The New Batch. Rather cute picture of Gizmo in the bottom left hand corner, Trick or Treat Studios logo in the bottom right. Pretty basic, very, very simple really. Around the sides it says Gremlins 2 again, the repeat of that photo, and the Trick or Treat Studios logo. Pretty much the same story on the right hand side. Nothing on the bottom of this box, and on the top, once again, just that Gremlins 2 logo and Deluxe Gizmo Mogwai prop. Spin the box around. What you've got on the back is some shots of all the other Gremlins in the series, and another rather cute picture of Gizmo emerging from his box. It says Trick or Treat Studios down the bottom here, and you've got all the usual credits and warnings going on in the bottom left hand corner. Don't piss these Gremlins off, or they may do unspeakable things to your stair lift. And at the top there it says, always follow the rules, avoid bright lights, do not get wet, and do not feed after midnight. So that's your box. Relatively simple packaging, but pretty effective. So what we'll do next is we're going to get the little critters out, get them all lined up, and have a close-up look at them. So, out of their respective boxes and unleashed on the world, it's the 5 Gremlins from Trick or Treat Studios. First impressions, I've got to say, first impressions are very good indeed. The proportions look right, that fur looks really well done, the individual faces look well sculpted and well painted, and overall, yeah, it looks like Trick or Treat Studios have done a cracking job here. They're so big, I can barely get these guys all in shot. They come in at about 12 inches tall, so they're going to take up a lot of space in the display. But I think we should dive in and have a look at each one of these guys individually. I have calmed down their fur, so yeah, straight out of the box, it's a little bit unruly. Transit hasn't suited them, so a quick comb through, and they're back to their usual state. But let's dive in. I think we should look at George first. So here's George of the Gremlin duo of George and Lenny, based very loosely on characters from John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. But let's have an up-close look at it. We'll start at the bottom as we always do. Feet. Now these feet are hollow plastic, and they've got some nice sculpting details going on the soles there, the folds in the skin. There's some pink paint applications to pick out the details, and this flesh tones. Nicely sculpted toenails on the top there, and just really, really well done. Articulation in these feet is a little bit on the limited side, as is the articulation on on all of them. You've got some right and left movement, but most of that feels like it's coming from the leg itself. There's a bit of forward and backward motion in that leg. And if you're wanting to spread those legs out a little bit to improve the stability, you can do, but it's not brilliant. But I think that's the nature of the body that's being used here, and the shortness of the legs. The body underneath here feels like it's made out of a material. I'm not sure if there's a framework or anything like that underneath, but what I suspect they've done here is they have Trick or Treat Studios have created sort of a padded body and then put this fur over the top, because it feels like there's a seam line running down the back there. And every time you handle these, the fur tends to go off all over the place, so you're going to be rebrushing it again. So yeah, I've just picked this guy up, I combed him through, picked this guy up, and it's all over the place again. So yeah, they're going to need hairdos on a regular basis. But yeah, liking the tones in here. They look screen accurate. Those black sort of sections around the ankles there and around the cuff area is screen accurate. This grey colour is right, with the flecks of white and black in there. This white section on the chest and the stomach, absolutely on point. The articulation in the arms pretty much mirrors what's going on with the legs. Not a vast amount of movement, although you can have his arms out pretty much almost vertically, horizontally at the side there, but yeah, not a vast amount of movement. You can't get the whole arm to sit flush to the body, but there is a twist in there, which is good to see. So you can move those arms around, and the hands themselves, pretty similar story to the feet. Feels like hollow plastic, nice flesh tones, some pinks involved in there, and you've got those nails that are done really nicely with the cuticles and the tips. So yeah, that's the arms. Let's take a look at this head this head sculpt now. The ears, hard plastic ears. These very nicely done. You've got sculpt work on the inside there with some striations and some curvature going on, and it's been picked out with that same pink paint that's been used on the feet and the hands. A little bit of a shine to them. They're a solid hard plastic, and it's the same story around the back. The detailing is nice and the paint applications are nice, and there is some articulation in these ears as well. Now, I would say exercise caution here, because these are tough to move, but they will rise right the way up there, and this is pretty much the case for all of these guys. And as you can see there, you can go for a sort of full bat look, super angry, or you can bring them down to a little bit more of a sort of a normal position. I would say be guided by how the head moves if you're going to alter the position of these ears. If you find that the head starts to move, either grip the head, or you've reached that sort of that zenith of movement in those ears, don't push it any further. You wouldn't want to damage him. But the head itself, yeah, the fur applications on the head, really good, screen accurate. That mouth is nicely sculpted. The paint application, obviously you could call it a tad soft, but I think that's okay. You can get away with that on a figure of this nature. The mouth is nicely done, screen accurate. You've got those pink paint applications on the nose and on the lips, and that sort of that growling, grimacing look that he's got on his face there has been captured really well. What really stands out for me on these pieces immediately is the eyes. The eyes are fantastic. The paint applications on those eyes is phenomenal. They've got that gloss on them to give them that super glassy look, so the light plays off them and makes them look lifelike, and they are really, really good. The only thing I have noticed, I've noticed this on the other figures as well, and we'll look at that when we bring them out, is some of the and I'm assuming it's glue that they've used to attach the certain sections of the fur here. Maybe a little bit haphazard with the glue. As you can see, it looks like George has got a bit of a tear in his eye, and that is actually glue, which has got stuck onto the fur there. Now, I can probably get that off, or if I can't get that off, I don't risk pulling any of the fur out. A dab of paint might cover that up. But yeah, some of the glue applications look a little bit as I say, haphazard. And you probably noticed as well, there's bits of fur stuck to his nose. If I can get him right into the camera, you might see this. But yeah, that looks to me like some glue has got stuck to his nose, and then the fur's got stuck to it. So it's going to take a little bit of jiggery pokery to get that fur off and get rid of that glue, and it feels like, because it looks slightly shinier on the top there. But yeah, maybe some of the glue use is not the best it could be, but overall I think he is a cracking take on George from Gremlins 2. And where would George be without Lenny? Tell me about the rabbits. Oh, so here's Lenny. Where would George be without Lenny? And Lenny is probably the tallest of the 5 gremlins we're going to look at. But we will have a quick once over with him. We'll start at the bottom. Pretty much the same story with the feet here, only a slightly different lighter paint application. It's the same story with the articulation in the legs, so we don't need to go over that. The fur itself and the body shape, it looks screen accurate to me. Not quite as chubby in the midriff as George, but the colours are right for the fur, and once again you're going to need to futz that fur. Just picking this guy up and the fur goes everywhere, so I gave him a comb through, but that's just about ruined it when I picked him up. The colours look right for that fur, the body shape looks right. You've got that sort of light brown going on the arms and down the sides of the legs with that white flash across the stomach and the chest section there. Articulation, same in the arms as the other one, just a slightly different paint application on the hands here, although they're the same. With the cuticles and the fingernails picked out there, just ever so slightly lighter. So yeah, same articulation, some movement in the arms, around the back, and this is where the fur's got a little bit unruly from me handling him, so I'll have to comb him through again. You've got those stripes going down the back, the white stripe on the right side and the left side, and then the black stripe running down the center there. My only complaint here is probably a QC issue with this one, with the application of the fur, is that black stripe should run right down the center of his head and right down the center of his back, and it's off at a strange angle here. You can actually see, if I lift this section up here, that fur on the back hasn't been put on properly. I don't know whether there's any way of futzing that over. It doesn't feel like there is. It feels like that this is securely attached. So yeah, QC issue there with that stripe running all the way down the back. Could have been done better, that one. But overall the colour's right and the proportions are right. Pretty similar ears to George. In fact, I think they're identical, same paint applications and same sculpt, that same hard plastic, and the same sort of articulation going on here. And as I said before, be guided by the movement in the head to know when you've reached that point of no return. Both these ears will go right the way up as well on this guy to give him that surprise bat-like look. Or I prefer them down on this character. It's more sort of more befitting his character. The face itself, really nicely done. We'll get this as close into camera as we can. You've got some freckles on the underneath the nose there, which are screen accurate. You've got those two teeth at the front, those oversized teeth sticking out, which are once again screen accurate. Same paint applications with those pinks and skin tones going on there. What really comes to life with this one again is the eyes, and they're fully visible and fully open. Huge eyes on this guy, and the paint applications on those eyes are wonderful. Really, really nice. Super reflective, super high gloss. Give it that glassy finish. The light really does love these eyes, and the areas around the eyes are really nicely painted as well. Not as many issues with the glue here that I've found yet. There is some molting going on, particularly in this fur around the ears. Bit of a clumping with the glue on this section at the top here, over the top of the ears. It's not quite as free floating as on the right hand side, so it feels like yeah, the glue applications are a little haphazard. And one thing I had noticed is some scuffs on these fingernails, but I don't know whether that's something that happened in the factory or something that happened in transit, and whether the camera's catching that. And it looks like some glue got spattered on one of his thumbs as well, and then some fur stuck to it. So yeah, a few problems with the glue use there and the fur application. Biggest issue is that off-center stripe, which is gonna really niggle my OCD, that one. So I'm gonna have to try and do something about that. But overall, I think I think he's very good indeed, and as a representation of Lenny from the Gremlins, he's pretty good. So on to the next. And it's Stripe. Straight away, I'm liking this one a lot. I think out of the 5, I'm going to find favourites. I have one particular Gremlin which will always be my lifelong favourite, but we'll get to that. We'll take a quick look at Stripe. Articulation, arms and legs, exactly the same as all the other figures, as are the hands and the feet, pretty much identical. The proportions are on point here, slightly different body form, and we've got that black and white fur going on here, which is screen accurate. Probably the only variances, obviously, other than the head sculpt here, are the body type, and you're looking at this this sort of beard going on underneath the mouth area here, which is in keeping with Stripe. Now, I don't know if the camera's catching that, but it's glued in under there, so I'm hoping that holds. It's going to molt. This one's molting just like all the others, but yeah, let's take a look at that head sculpt. I'm loving this head sculpt. I think it's absolutely on point here. The eyes slightly different to the other guys, in as much as you've got these sort of I wouldn't say half open. They're slightly closed eyes with these wrinkle sections around the top and the bottom there. But once again, the paint applications on those eyes is great, super glassy and super reflective. Mouth area here, you've got this suitably psychotic looking grin going on, which I really like. The teeth are picked out. The paint applications aren't brilliant in there, but they're pretty good. I'll get this as close in as I can, and you can see that, yeah, there's some sort of bleed on the paint there onto the teeth in places, but overall it's effective for this price point. And the yellow paint applications on those teeth are screen accurate, and the black portions, I say, perhaps could be slightly more accurate, but that's a minor niggle. The area surrounding the mouth, once again, is painted with those flesh tones, nicely sculpted, and those pinks on the nose and the lips. The fur on the head itself, not noticed any glue issues with this one, although there are some little stray hairs and bits of fur that are stuck to the eyes which need removing. There is this sort of thread thing going on here with this, which can be blended into the fur, and it feels like there's a clump of glue going on there, which there isn't on this side. I think these white bits have been glued in on top of the black fur, and I think maybe a bit slap happy with the glue there, but overall it's not showing through, which it was on the other ones. The ears are different on this particular Gremlin, on the Stripe Gremlin. The shape is different. You've got these sort of indentations going around the side. They're not quite as large, but you've got these sort of, say, indentations going on. Paint and sculpt the same as the other ears, pretty much. And you've got that same level of movement going on, so you can get them right up there, which really suits Stripe when he's in full evil mode. But yeah, and the fur underneath there, you can actually see the joint through here. When you have this one with the ears right the way up there, and it's on a ball joint in there, and so raise them too high and you might start to see those. Not as obvious on this side, but it is on this side. But futzing around with the fur will probably sort that out. So yeah, nicely done ears. The stripe on the centre of the head there has a tendency to fall down, as you can see. I'll get him sideways on here, so it needs some futzing. A little bit of product in that fur will keep it in place. A bit of styling and a bit of futzing and some product, so you can have that full stripe going on. So overall, yeah, I think another quality piece here from Trick or Treat Studios, and an excellent representation of the maniacal stripe. Moving swiftly on. And if we're really, really quiet, we can hear everybody in YouTube land going, "Ah, yes, it's Gizmo." Everybody's favourite. Well, almost everybody's favourite. And I'm going to enjoy looking at Gizmo now for the next 2 or 3 minutes, because no doubt when this review's finished, He's going to disappear, being clutched by Mrs. Go-Figure as she disappears into the sunset. But yeah, it's cuteness personified. It's Gizmo. The same story here with the feet, the arms, the articulation. The body type is on point, absolutely. Not quite as chubby as a couple of the other guys, but yeah, they've nailed on the proportions here, Trick or Treat Studios. The colours look right with that sort of brown, almost ginger fur going on, and then the white sections. That head, absolutely on point and on proportion. Yeah, just done a cracking job here, I think, Trick or Treat Studios. Those ears are exactly the same as the others. It's that hard plastic once again on those ball joints, so you've got that articulation option going on. And yeah, I think they've absolutely nailed it on here. And this thing, well, it's just, it's, as I say, cuteness personified. The back, once again, every time you pick it up, is going to need another comb through, but I'm not seeing any real problems with the glue that we talked about before. Maybe a little bit on this hand here where some of the fur's stuck, and it's a giveaway when the glue's the gluing process has been not exactly up to scratch because there's bits of fur stuck there, but that can be removed. But overall, yeah. Wow, the cuteness factor here is just is off the charts. I love the little smirk they put on his face, almost that little smile that he's got going on, that little pink button nose. If I had to level any criticisms here, it most certainly isn't those eyes. Those eyes are fantastic. They're huge and done just to the same high standard of paint and paint applications as the other guys' eyes, and the light just bounces off there beautifully. But it's some of the QC issues again here, and I'll try and get this guy in as close as I can. If you can see underneath here where it's not been properly stitched or glued to the face, and it feels like there's either some glue on there, or when the fur was being attached, it's not been attached properly up to the seam line, and it's folded back a little bit. And you've got that going on underneath this eye here as well. If the camera's catching this around this eye, you can see under there some of the what looks like stitch work or glue. I'm not sure 100% what it is, but it does look a bit ugly. So maybe some futzing around with this after the review's over to get it to look right. And we've got that same issue going on around this left eye as well. If you look closely there, you can see what looks like a glued on seam where the fur's not quite covering it up. So maybe some futzing around it. And we've got that going on the top of this eye as well, and it looks like some glue has seeped through as well. And this, yeah, it looks a bit ugly. It's not too bad on this eye, but on this eye it is quite pronounced that it's not been done with perhaps the greatest care and attention around that left eye. But overall, I think as a representation of Gizmo from Gremlins 2, I think he's a cracking little piece and super cute as well. So without further ado, let's go on to the final Gremlin and my personal favourite. Everybody has a favourite Gremlin, and here's mine. It's Daffy. I just love Daffy. From the first time I saw the film, this guy puts the biggest smile on my face. Absolutely batshit bonkers, and I love this Gremlin to pieces. Just the best thing about Gremlins for me is Daffy. Let's have a quick look at the maniacal Daffy. Once again, I'm not going to cover articulation here. The hands, the feet, they're pretty much identical, slightly different paint applications, but on the whole, pretty much the same, as is the articulation and the articulation on the ball joints on those ears. The colours are right as far as I can tell. That sort of orange coloured fur and the white coloured fur, they've got the proportions just nailed on here. I'm not seeing the same level of QC issues here that we saw before, but that mouth, beautifully sculpted and painted there. Look, the fact that we can see his tongue and his mouth wide open in that strange grin. What teeth we can see that he does have are nicely painted. That pink nose is on point. The eyes, I love the eyes, and they are crossed the way they should be as he appears in the film. They just don't look quite as crossed as they should be for me. Being a Daffy devotee, But on the whole, yeah, it works, and it's got that completely just mental look, which I think is brilliant. The fur around the face and on the body itself has that same issue. As soon as you pick it up, it needs combing through again. And there are dark patches. The fur on the legs is uneven. That's screen accurate. You've got dark splodges going on, which are dotted around in sort of not haphazardly, but not in a symmetrical way, which is pretty screen accurate as well. The fur around the face, very, very good. But a couple of issues that I have noticed with this, and that's, once again, if you look at if I can go right into camera here and get that light on it, you've got that same sort of QC issue going on with where the fur has been stuck around the eye there, whether that's glue or a seam line, I'm not sure, so it's going to take some work. And the hair needs futzing, this sort of white section, but I mean, you can put that any way you like, I mean, laying down or stood up, or really you can muck about with this guy to your heart's content. And overall, apart from some lumps of glue, once again, and you can probably see that there, it's glue caught in the hair there, in the fur rather, that needs, I can probably scrape that out with a fingernail, or some tool will get that out, but and it looks like on the back of the ear here, if I can get that right into camera, once again, the glue has dribbled down the ear here, and then the fur's got stuck to it, so that needs some attention as well. But overall, once again, I think as the crazy Daffy, I think Trick or Treat Studios have done a cracking job here, and I absolutely love this. If I had to, and I know most people would go Gizmo, but if you put a gun to my head and I had to pick one, and I had to lose the rest, then this is the guy I'd be keeping. So I think what we should do is bring the gang all out, get them back in front of the camera, and go in for a final verdict and score on these guys. The gang's all here and ready to wreak havoc, and it's time for a final verdict on Trick or Treat Studios' take on the Gremlins from Gremlins 2, the new batch. Oh, where to start on these guys? Straight away, I'm going to have to make the utmost effort here not to be influenced by nostalgia, or at least try and minimise that nostalgia, because I absolutely love the Gremlins. I think they're amazing. I love having these in the collection. I think they look fantastic. The proportions are nailed on. The colours are right. On the whole, those faces are done really well, if a tad soft in the sculpt, but on the whole, I really, really like what Trick or Treat Studios have given us here. Score. Unfortunately, the score's going to be affected by the QC issues that we talked about when we looked at them individually, and there are a number of them here. And yes, we are talking about a price point here. Each individual Gremlin isn't going to break the bank, although if you do decide to get all of them together, it's going to be a bit costly. But yeah, there are some QC issues here that we talked about. It's mainly the glue, to be honest with you, the shoddiness of the glue work and attaching the fur, and it's present around Gizmo's eye. We saw lumps of glue stuck in the fur. There's seams showing in places. If you get too close, they don't stand up to that kind of microscopic scrutiny, unfortunately. And probably the biggest QC issue for me is that stripe down Lenny's back, which just isn't even. It's all over the place. So yeah, fantastic pieces that represent great value for money, but let down by some QC issues, unfortunately. But I can't wait to get to the showcase at the end here. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to have a field day at the showcase here. So, score out of 10, tough one. Somewhere for me between a 7.5 and an 8. I'm going to go with an 8 on these guys. That feels comfortable. That's taking into account the price point and taking into account that somebody went bonkers with the glue, and maybe someone was asleep in the QC department when these guys went through. Gremlins in the QC department, who knows? So there you have it, folks. That is Trick or Treat Studios' take on 5 of the Gremlins from Gremlins 2, the new batch. What are your thoughts on these pieces? What are your thoughts on Trick or Treat Studios? What are your thoughts on Joe Dante? What are your thoughts on Gremlins the movie? What are your thoughts on a remake and the possibility of that? Nothing is off menu, so please drop a comment in the comment section below. I'd be fascinated to hear your take. What's coming up on the channel? Well, we have a raft of 1/6 scale figures from Hot Toys, from InArt, Susu Toys, Present Toys, Iconic Studios. Obviously, we've got Chuck Norris coming up for review from Caustic Plastic, who lost out to these guys in the poll. So yeah, vast amount of stuff on the horizon. So as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the good stuff that's coming up. And I suppose all it remains for me to say, from the Mogwais and myself, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.